Hello guys, Daniel here, or you know me, I'm back again, guess back, it's me, the Boris, and today you may notice a few things are different. Firstly, I got a haircut, and secondly, I rearranged my entire room, well, not my entire room, kind of to look different, so now you have to look at all this. It's beautiful, I know, right? Yeah, it's got the guitar walls and the keyboard, and everything you could ever want in a room. But today we're not talking about that, we're talking about Death Grips. Death Grips are an experimental hip-hop group hailing from California, and I like their music a lot. Thank you for watching. No, it's not it. We're also going to be talking about other stuff like Death and Grips, and also all of their albums, and giving you a brief overview on what you think, well, not what you think, but what I think of yeah, all these albums and all that stuff. So let us start off with where we should begin, the Money Store. Yes, I know I'm skipping out on Ex-Military, but that is not on Google Play Music along with Government Plate, so maybe we'll save those for another day. As this is some of the fastest and most electronic work that Death Grips have produced, with MC Ride's raps, which are sharp as usual. The drumming is a bit weak compared to other Death Grips releases, probably because of how they did it, and they used like drum machines in this, when in the other releases they used, Roland V drums, which are electronic drums, and it has a unique use of synth tones for this genre of music, and some tracks are really catchy, and this isn't experimental as other Death Grips releases, which makes it more accessible for people. And a lot of these tones are sampled and old, and I generally classify the style of this as plunderphonics plus industrial plus hip-hop, and it's good because I liked it. Now on to the next album, which is No Love, Deep Web. This album is not as good as the Money Store, but that does not mean it is bad. The drumming is much better, but this album is slower, harder, more aggressive, and more produced, and it's on the boundaries of hip-hop and God knows what. It has elements of other past hip-hop acts. It's more minimalistic, less samples, and a lot of the synth notes remind me of 80s synth pop, and this can be a bit boring at times, and also a bit minimalistic. It's kind of pushing it a bit too far, but whatever. Anyways, on to the next release, which is Fashion Week, which was a soundtrack album, I believe, for a film, which I'll put here. I'll put the film there, because I can't remember what it is. And it's a series of instrumentals that sound like outtakes from the Money Store. They're not particularly that interesting, but there's still a good collection of some electro-industrial tracks. The drumming is still pretty sharp at times, with elements of plunderphonics and IDM. This is some of their most unique material to date. As a quick note, Runway T is a very good track, so please listen to it, and I won't cry. Well, I will cry to myself to sleep, but we all cry in the end. Alright, next album is Expletive on the Moon. And at first it seems like the Money Store and No Love mixed together, but it is not that good. It's too experimental. They've gone too far, seeing as the only instruments are drums, vocals, and Bjork's voice. Yep, Icelandic singer-songwriters Bjork's vocals are the prime focus of this, and that was a bad idea because it is not good. Well, it's I wouldn't say it's good. Maybe it's okay, I suppose. And that's really it. It seems more like a pointless experiment. It lacks variety at times. It's not terrible, but like I said, just lacks variety. Now onto the next disc of this 2-disc set, known as The Powers That Be, Jenny Death. This is some of the fastest and hardest work that Death Grips have done to date. It has elements of hardcore punk, industrial rock, dance punk, and alt rock. It uses actual guitar, which creates more of a raw sound that hasn't been heard from Death Grips since the Money Store, whilst also having a lot of these background droning noises that have been heard in the previous releases such as No Love, Deep Web. And there's also the MIG air horn sound on the track Psst, Psst. So yeah, it's called Yeah, starting an ASMR channel. Hello. Yeah, no, that's a joke. Anyways, next album, or should I say EP, is Interview 2016, which is another set of instrumentals which sounds like Expletive on the Moon. The demos for that before Bjork came along and ruined it. Not ruined it, but whatever. And you get the point. It's quite mellow at times, which is unusual for this band, and the drumming is sharp as usual, and it's quite different from the rest of the band's discography. That's the general album, not just the drumming. And finally, we go on to Bottomless Pit, which is this very fast and noisy, with elements of Jenny Death, The Money Store, and this is some of the band's most rock work, and it can feel a bit too experimental at times, but it expands from Jenny Death with some calmer parts to create this mix of noise rock, alt rock, industrial rock, and hip hop, and it even has elements of Rage Against the Machine to me, and also this band's past work. So that's kind of a recap of this band's discography. I will probably get back to Government Plates and Ex-Military someday, which are some releases, but for now, we'll just leave it as is. So that were my general opinions on Death Grips. Oh wait, no, I'm not done yet, because I gotta go rank the albums and also talk about my general opinions. I haven't done the ranking yet, so I'll just talk about my opinions, and then I'll cut the video and then I'll do whatever. So, my opinions on this. This band is very unique. You don't get too many artists like this nowadays. A lot of hip-hop acts just like, yeah, I'm a girlfriend, you're hot, or sex. But this group takes hip-hop to places where it's never been before, with so many elements of God knows what, and it's just, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful mix. There's so much headbanging for me, and it's a lovely mix of like just so heavy on the beats and all that stuff. But yeah, those are my general opinions on Death Grips. I'll get to the ranking once we're done. Oh, guess who's back? It's me, The Wars, and I'm here with the ranking. At number 7, we have Expletive on the Moon. This album is like I say, crappy mix of experimental and Bjork. I like Bjork, I really do, but this album does not do her justice, and it is the worst album they've put out. Maybe Government Plates or Ex-Military is worse. I wouldn't know. But anyways, number 6 we have No Love. I just can't. Like I said, no love. There's no love for this album. Like I said, it's good, but some of the times it just feels so kind of bland at times, you know. Whatever. At number 5 we have Interview 2016. This is where I start to actually really like the albums. I really do like Interview 2016, and it's good and all that, and yeah, like I said earlier, you know, mix of demos it sounds like, and drumming and all that. It's kind of just like instrumental staples for what this band is like. And then we have Bottomless Pit. Bottomless Pit, which is, like I said, this excellent mix of industrial, alt rock, noise, all this stuff, which culminates in a beautiful rainbow. It's a rainbow of Death Grips. Sounds painful. And then we have The Money Store. This is a classic. I could not resist putting it up higher than stuff like Bottomless Pit and No Love. Resist because it's such a classic. It's an absolute classic. The new classic. Good album. Check it out. And then there is next up Fashion Week. I was pleasantly tickled by this album, which is why it's just so good. I like IDM music because Aphex Twin is good. Please notice me, senpai. And it's just an excellent mix of just these kind of simple and almost MIDI sounding beats, but it's just so gosh darn good. And then at number 1 we have Jenny Death. This may seem like a bit of an unconventional choice, but I just like it so much. It's just so good. It's the top Death Grips album, and yeah, it's good. So that was my opinions on Death Grips. Please please like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, all that stuff. I'm your Wallace Daniel. Yeah. Peace.